And what it said to me was, yeah, America is a fast food country. I mean, it just is. So is there anything intrinsically wrong in principle with a bit of a disruptor like RFK going, you know what, we're just going to attack all this. We're going to try and make America a healthier place, even if, albeit, he has some pretty out there views about things like vaccines.
I have to see the details. I don't know where he will land.
Science superstar Neil deGrasse Tyson recently sat down with Piers Morgan for a no-holds-barred discussion about Trump's shocking plan to put RFK Jr., a notorious vaccine skeptic, in charge of America's health policies. This isn't just political theater, it's a potential disaster in the making. In this explosive segment, we'll unpack Tyson's brilliant takedown of this dangerous proposal. Does America's most beloved scientist support putting an anti-science crusader at the helm of public health? I'll give you my unfiltered reaction to their fiery exchange. The stakes couldn't be higher. Let's dive in together.
Just segue from that. You've been interesting about some of, the sort of Trump landscape we're heading to has a number of things which enter your wheelhouse. One of which Scientific America said, for example, about the appointment of RFK Jr. Trump has promised he would allow Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to go wild on medicines, food, and health. With that, a radical anti-establishment medical movement with roots in past centuries could threaten the achievements of a science-based public health order painstakingly built since World War II. Do you agree with their categorization of the way this could go?
Yeah, I don't have a crystal ball of how actual politics unfolds. What I do know is that in the U.S. government, no matter what people say at the top, what matters is how money gets allocated in the federal budget. And you can say, oh, I hate science, or science is this or that, but if the money goes to the agencies, then the career scientists who work for those agencies will do their job. And by the way, leaders come and go. Heads of agencies, especially if they're presidential appointees, come and go. The scientists are there for their careers. And so in the end, the scientists will do what scientists must do. And I have full confidence that we will not lose the mission statement of these very important scientific institutions. By the way, just a quick bit of history. Abraham Lincoln in 1863, when he clearly had other things he needed to be worrying about, signed into existence the National Academy of Science, having seen in Europe the role of science in shaping their future of their economy, of their culture, of their civilization. And so this was set up as an independent agency with scientists choosing other scientists in their community to participate, to independently advise the executive branch and the House and the Senate on policies that relate to the country. And so I have the confidence that that kind of mission statement will prevail.
Somebody like RFK.
As it has in the past.
Right. Someone like RFK, he's got obviously some outlandish ideas. He has some very good ideas. I mean, you're looking at America in totality. It's one of the fattest countries and unhealthiest countries in the developed world, right? I mean, it just is. And by the way, we're in no position to lecture you over here either in the UK. So I'm not by any means taking the high moral ground, but it's a reality that America is a pretty unhealthy and fat country. Is there anything wrong?
Yeah, your fish and chips. Your fish and chips is a whole other
with mushy peas,
bath and oil right there.
But my point is, I always remember my favorite statistic when I was a newspaper editor when George W. Bush became president. Under Freedom of Information, we got access to all the people he had sent to the death chamber, the execution list when he was governor of Texas. It was like 160 odd people. It was the greatest number of people executed by one governor in modern history in America. And as part of the Freedom of Information, we got access to what their last meal request was in the days when they used to make a last meal request and they could have whatever they wanted. 80-something% wanted a Big Mac and large fries.
Now, hold up. Before Neil drops his knowledge, let's gut Piers Morgan's disgusting Big Mac statistic like the rotten argument it is. This privileged Brit actually bragged about tracking executed prisoners' last meals to paint Americans as burger-guzzling slobs? How tasteless can you get? Here's what his cheap shot misses. When your entire life is dollar menu dinners because you grew up in food deserts, of course, your last meal fantasy stays trapped in poverty. This isn't about nutrition, it's about inequality so brutal that even final requests scream systemic neglect. That Piers would weaponize prisoner suffering for lazy stereotypes, that, more than any greasy burger, is what turns my stomach.
True.
Piers, first of all, that's creepy that you would do that, okay? That's just...
Well, no, it was actually the whole point of it was this guy he killed a lot of people when he was governor, and he executed a lot of people, and it was quite informative about the kind of president he may be. That was the point. But the detail was fascinating and what it said to me was, yeah, America is a fast food country. I mean, it just is. So is there anything intrinsically wrong in principle with a bit of a disruptor like RFK going, you know what, we're just going to attack all this. We're going to try and make America a healthier place, even if, albeit, he has some pretty out there views about things like vaccines.
I have to see the details. I don't know where he will land in these things. Yeah, there are things he said previously, but not everything he said even agreed with itself. Right. So it's hard to predict where that's going to land when he takes office. But I can tell you that in the end, nature is the ultimate judge, jury, and executioner of what is objectively true in this world. And so you cannot rise to power, declare something that is true that has no scientific support. You can get away with it for a little while because you can drum up support, especially on social media, but that you're building a house of cards that will ultimately collapse. Or if you manage to shore up the house of cards with more things that are not objectively true, other countries will rise up and they will lead the world in ways that we once did. And I've come to realize that we are highly reactive rather than proactive as a country relative to our place in the rest of the world. And I fear that we may have to sink a little lower in our sort of scientific prowess before everyone wakes up and realizes we're not on the right track, yet other countries are. Okay. And because you and I, we're same age-ish, we lived the second half of the 20th century with the United States leading in practically every metric in science and technology. Yeah. And I just got very accustomed to that. Frankly, yeah, and I'd like to see that continue.
Neil deGrasse Tyson hits the nail on the head here, and his warning should shake every American to their core. While other nations charge ahead with scientific progress, we're busy putting anti-science extremists like RFK Jr. in charge of public health. What happened to the America that celebrated genius and discovery? Remember when kids dreamed of being scientists? Now we've got a generation raised on conspiracy theories and YouTube pseudoscience. Tyson's absolutely right. We've gone from global leaders to laughingstock, all because we stopped valuing facts and expertise. The most terrifying part? This isn't just about politics anymore. Real lives are at stake when we let anti-vax rhetoric dictate policy. We used to eradicate diseases. Now we're debating whether to bring them back. So I want to hear from you. Are we doomed to become anti-science backwater? Or can we turn this around? Drop your hottest take in the comments. And if you still believe in facts over fiction, hit that like button hard. This is Chris on Culture. And trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.